if you are just starting out in the agency space and you just started your agency and you're officially looking for that first client that you're going to work with, that's going to pay you. And maybe you're struggling, as I know I was when I started over 6.5 years now. I really struggled with the fact that I didn't have proof or results of what I was capable of in managing one's social media accounts or doing the content side of it. And so I really just struggled in like sales meetings, in going out there and pitching myself in the DMs, and going out to networking events and telling people what I did. Because it just didn't feel right to me. Like in my gut and in my soul, I just didn't feel right about trying to sell people on my services when I didn't know if I could provide the results that I was selling. So what I did is I actually became my own first client. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I literally created basically a theme page, more or less, on Instagram for my local region that I grew up in, for the Adirondack Mountain region. And I watched a bunch of YouTube. I researched how to build social media accounts, how to post content, like the little optimization tactics, all this stuff. I became obsessive with learning how to deliver results. And I ended up building that account in a matter of a couple of months to like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. It was a very engaged theme account. I actually still have access to it to this day. And I was generating the results. I had full control over this account. I had full creative freedom, and I managed to do what I told myself I was going to do with that account. And from there, I remember literally going into the sales meeting following me building an account when I finally decided, okay, I'm going to jump back into lead gen. I'm going to get somebody on the phone. I've got some results. I've got some proof now. And I went on that phone call and I told them, when that question comes up of like, well, do you have any past experience? Have you worked? Can you show us some of the work you've done? Absolutely. I said, I actually have this theme page. This is my own page. I have full freedom over the creative assets that go out on it, the structuring of the posts, the accounts, everything. And I believe it to be the perfect reflection of what it looks like when I am given the access and the freedom to do what I do best. And I just pulled up some of the results. I was like, I grew this many followers in X amount of months, and I've reached X amount of people, which they were good numbers. I reached X amount of people in those months, and in the past 30 days, some odd thousand, tens of thousands, 100,000, whatever it was. Here are my results. Here is what I am capable of when, again, given the freedom to do what I do best. Because the last thing I wanted was like the nightmare clients like that breathe down your neck all the time. And I ended up closing that client. Off of the proof and the results that I had generated completely on my own by making the decision to be my own first client. And I didn't stop there. Then I was getting results for that actual client. I started building those up, building rapport with that. I was continuing to take sales meetings, doing outreach, stuff like that, continuing to use that same pitch as well as the new client I'm working with now. But I didn't stop there with being my own client either. I also then started making more personal branding content. I started making stuff like this to build my personal brand, which I knew would eventually attract customers, attract leads, maybe give me some opportunities later on down the road to make connections, to network, etc. And I also made social media accounts for my marketing agency, Blades Marketing. And like you can look it up, and we're active on those to this day. We upload content. Most cases, it's videos or behind the scenes stuff of shoots that we do for clients and just showcasing our work, the quality of our work, as well as results. And I got active on those accounts right out of the gate. I started uploading, whether it was social media marketing tips, hacks, videos, graphics, testimonials. I started getting really active on my actual agency's social media accounts. And I was able to use that as social proof too. You know, if I was looking for an agency to manage the socials and the content for my business, I would want to work with an agency that practices what they preach. that when I go on their agency's page or I look them up on Instagram, they actually have an Instagram account. They have a Facebook account for the agency itself. And not only that, but the work that they have posted on there looks to be at a quality benchmark or standard that I would want to represent my company. You know, if the agency has its own presence, they're reaching X amount of people, and they're posting videos that look exceptional and perform well, I'm going to be much more likely to want to go to that agency to handle the creative workflow and the management of the social media accounts for my business or brand. Simply because they practice what they preach. So for any of you guys that are just getting started in the agency space, you're looking to build a social media marketing agency or whatever it is, a web design agency, graphic design agency, the list goes on. If you are looking to break into the online business model that is the agency space, which I believe to be the best space to get started in, be your own first client. And I promise you, it's not just in the fact that you're going to be able to leverage that to pitch clients, because you can go the other route and just be honest with people, do it for a cut rate, get the experience, the knowledge from those first couple clients, as I did as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But by being your own first client, you will build a level of confidence that does not come from anything else. In knowing that you are the one that had complete control over those accounts, all of the creatives that were chosen and distributed, every single little faculty and facet of those brand accounts that you have full management over are a 100% perfect reflection of your ability to do what it is that you say you're going to do. And there's a lot of confidence to be built in that, both as an entrepreneur as well as an agency owner. And I truly believe that that has paid off in spades for me. Being the fact that most of the guys I got started with, most of the guys I met along my agency journey that were also pursuing the agency space, 6.5 years later, I'm still in this game. Most of them are not. There are a select few. There are a select few that I'm still in touch with that are still in the space, but the mass majority of guys I met along the way ended up jumping ship because they just couldn't cut it. Whether they couldn't cut it in entrepreneurship, they weren't built for it, or they suffered from shiny object syndrome. You know, they got 2-3 years in, experienced their first downturn or their first hard time or struggle with that model, and they immediately got frantically, in desperation, started looking for something else, looking for an excuse to jump. And they ended up going into e-com or drop shipping or content or whatever they ended up doing. And then they jumped from that thing onto the next thing and onto the next thing and onto the next thing. And I just think it's so important to build the confidence in yourself and in your ability to do what it is that you say you're going to do in the world of business if you want to be that guy that gets to play for north of 5 years. If you want to even make it past the 5-year mark, you're going to have to be confident to an extent in your abilities, as an entrepreneur, and just honestly your overarching grit, like your ability to just persevere when shit gets tough and stick with something even when it's not working yet, and just hyperfixate on making it work. Like force your way into success or force your way through those barriers. Find ways around them, whatever you want to say. But I hope this video was helpful to some of you out there. I appreciate each and every one of you that watch these videos, and I will catch you all in the next one. God bless.